Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy. I am very happy for him that he won the Heisman Trophy. And I want to make a couple of points about him winning the Heisman Trophy. Not all of them directly about him, but a few. First of all, I saw on the internet, the voting was actually very close. And I liked seeing a close Heisman vote because I think that the presence of cable television and the influence that ESPN has on the sports discourse has made it such that back in the day, there used to be, I don't know who's going to win the Heisman stuff. And that doesn't happen anymore. It is much more standardized because we're consuming from the same trough. So like the idea that there are voting blocks from different parts of the country used to matter a lot more for the Heisman because of the way the information was spread. And you would see these big jumps and differences of the voting in different places based on their familiarity with and proximity to these players, right? You don't have that nearly as much, but this was a tough one. On one hand, a dude that put up rushing totals that, to me, in my mind, should get you the Heisman Trophy. Like, I think a big old 2,000 plus running total is a Heisman Trophy season, generally speaking, right? On the other hand, Travis Hunter's log line for the Heisman is maybe the best corner in America won the Biletnikoff Trophy. Yeah, that's kind of tough. Like when I looked up and saw that he had 14 touchdown catches, I was like, oh, okay, I don't really need to see anything else here. That is unreal what it is that he has done playing there. I don't care what the Big 12 happens to be right now. And this is why I say that, and that's important. And look, there's room to be critical about what the relative strength of the Big 12 is. However, if Texas had a player that was in the Big 12, just as it is constituted right now, and they were doing things, we'd have criticisms of the Big 12, but we still find it to be okay. The only difference between this Big 12 and last year's Big 12, truly, now granted, yeah, they moved a lot of teams in and out, but the only true difference is that this Big 12 doesn't have the brand names of Texas and Oklahoma. And those brand names of Texas and Oklahoma were somewhat of a hit or miss proposition in the last 10 years on what you were getting from them, okay? He did it in a conference that if they were in it last year, we would have called it a legitimate conference. I don't think this conference is as good as the Pac-12 was last year, but still, I think he did it. I also think that if you wanted to vote for Genty, that's fine. I don't think those were bad votes if you went in different directions on that one. Like, it's okay. Good for him. I do think that a lot of people who had issues with Hunter are probably residual issues that they had for Deion Sanders. I want to throw this out there. I don't think Deion has gotten enough credit this season for something that I didn't really think he had in him, which was this season has really been about the players and not about their coach. Think about that. It ain't all this we coming and all the shots at Deion and Deion answering for everything at every turn and all of this. Like last year, there was much more attention paid to Colorado because Deion got so much attention and Deion got so much attention because he is Deion Sanders. This year has been about the players. And I love that for Travis Hunter and give credit to Deion because I didn't really think he could do that. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, especially if he doesn't have players that have the star power of his son and this guy as this goes forward. But I, as someone who has been very critical of Deion and much of the belief that just about everything Deion does is for Deion, even though I do think Deion wishes to do things for other people and wishes to be helpful and 100% does see himself as someone whose goal is to help and serve these young men and help them get to the places he wants to go. I think very often he does it through himself. I don't think that's what happened this time. I just don't feel like I've seen that this year. If I had, I would criticize it. I haven't. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. Now, as I give him credit for not making Travis Hunter about him, and I take a few minutes to make Travis Hunter about Deion, I will get back to talking about Travis Hunter. This is, to me, one of the all-time great seasons, a performance of a college football player. To me, it's an all-time great. I just can't. I remember when Champ Bailey played corner and also played receiver at Georgia. And he was a receiver. I remember when Charles Woodson played corner and receiver at Michigan and he won the Heisman Trophy. He was a receiver. Hunter was that dude. Like, that to me is very, very, very different. He was 100% that dude. And I don't think we didn't watch him as much this year as we had. And that part I do think is a little disappointing, though I guess the numbers might be there. I don't know what the rating said. I know in terms of the larger discourse, it wasn't there in that same way. I watched some Colorado games, but I admit that I was not on them the same way I was last year, because last year it was a little bit more relevant for my job. But all the same, he gets all the props. Now, this young man's girlfriend has entered the chat of the conversation. They are getting married in May. And so this thing has happened. And this happens all the time, just about everywhere. I do not have children, but this is a very common thing when you observe the behaviors of younger people and you think about your own life and you think about all the lives that you have seen. When you as adult have a tendency, see a younger person with a significant other, and they are very, very deeply in love and making permanent kind of decisions in their early 20s, we all have a tendency to say to ourselves, don't do it. Reconsider. Read some little. Like, hey, you sure about this one? Like that is what all of us with the guys of hindsight and everything else. We all see these circumstances, and you see a young person that young, and they like, yeah, we gonna get married, and you like, nah, I don't think you should. That's what we all tend to do, and we all mean well in the course of it. But see, there's another level of this that's happened to Travis Hunter that's a bit different, which is he already got a lot of money. I read something that said that boy got a ring that cost something in the neighborhood of $100,000. Now, if that is true, what a time. Let's start there. But number two, all the old heads is like, bruh, are you sure? Bruh, is that the move that you want to make? And then what happens is I see loud conversation about this dude's relationship, and he's like 21 years old. I see people putting up videos of the way his girl was acting at some event that he was having, and she wanted to go home, and she's like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here. Some story come out about how she said initially he wasn't her type, and then they went out, and then they fell in love. And so people are like, yeah, she don't even like you. She just with you for the money, which those people are projecting, but what they're projecting is why they think somebody would like that young man. And I think you need to be careful about what it is that you're really saying when you're doing that, because what you're doing truly is insulting him. Y'all out here saying that would nobody want to be with him if he didn't have no paper. And maybe, but y'all need to chill out about that sort of thing. I remember one time, Sean, one of my homeboys asked me, he was like, now that you're on TV and stuff like that, he's like, how do you know that a woman likes you for who you are and not what you got? And I'm like, because I'm dope. What are you talking about? Yeah, like I say, I was doing pretty good when I was broke too. Like, ain't never no time I questioned that, right? Like, it's disheartening to see the way that people are talking about that, right? And I look at, like, on one level, I want to speak to the adults in the conversation and be like, yo, I don't know how crazy you think a lot of y'all sound. As men, as women, as everywhere. I don't think y'all know how wild y'all sound in this. But on the other hand, I just want to throw this out there for Hunter, because I am curious to know what role Deion had in influencing him with the YouTube show with his girl, for example. Because one thing that Deion Sanders has done in retirement, and I think one of the reasons why he is such an interesting topic or has become such a big talker, and when I say talker, I mean talker for people like me, like a good talking topic in the range of people that care about him, is as he's been retired, he's done a lot of like reality television, which you seeing him with his wife and everything else, right? Number two, Deion is Mr. Marketing. He has a sense for this better than anybody else. And something I saw somebody make a note of online that I hadn't thought about is that the dudes that are big time these days do not present as bachelor as they did in the past. They present as part of a couple, right? And so in this world where you give everybody access to your life or whatever, that means that all these people are given access to their relationships. And Travis Hunter is learning the hard way that you can invite people into your business, but you can't even kick them out. They don't leave until they want to once you let them in. There's nothing that you can do. And unlike my partner who once had to kick his sister-in-law out of his house, you can't even go get a letter from the state for eviction notice to say it's your house with your business. Your business is just a theoretical idea. Once they in it, you can't do anything else. And so I look, in the day after Travis Hunter has won the Heisman, he's making video talking about how his girl is at the crib drinking and crying because of all the attention that she's receiving. Because you can make the argument that Travis Hunter has been planning or practicing or training for this fame for all these years. That woman has not. I can't imagine what it's like to have all these eyeballs on her. I don't know what their situation is. I definitely think a 21-year-old getting married is stupid. Like stupid in a sweet way, right? But then they look, if that's what you're going to do, that's fine. That's where it goes. That's what it is. But I can't get passionate about being in Travis Hunter's relationship. I can't do that. But what I can do is really empathize for the idea that for a generation that's as online as this generation is, this dude just won the Heisman. And if you were to search for his name, a significant portion of it is people telling him that he shouldn't win the Heisman, telling him that his girl ain't shit, and telling him that the only reason she with him is because he got money. Yo, those are what these times are. Like, think about what all this put together. A college kid paid $100,000 for a ring for his girl, and they do a YouTube show about their lives, and he just won the Heisman Trophy, and somebody took a camera phone video of her being ready to go when she's at an event that's got nothing to do with her and everything to do with him, and everybody's watching the ceremony and seeing whether or not she stood up when it's time for him to get the Heisman, and not a single one of those people even knows her name. Yo, man, we tripping right now. We really, really tripping right now on all of this. So to that young man, congratulations on winning the Heisman, and the best of luck in managing everything else that comes with it. I wish I could have been the one to tell you in advance what I just told you about your business. That's some game a lot of y'all need. Y'all like the way I put that too. You can let them in, but you can't even kick them out. That's game, baby. I wish somebody had given you that, because I don't think that money or whatever you get from it feel worth it right now. Do it. And I just say all that to say, look at how the happiest weekend, which should have been in that man's life, the happiest Saturday, could quickly turn into a really whack kind of Sunday. Damn shame. The NBA is in full swing and the NFL playoffs are right around the corner, which means you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite teams only on Prize Picks. You can make a Prize Picks lineup between the NFL and the NBA in as little as 60 seconds. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.